The digitalization efforts of the akufo-addo-led government, which is being spearheaded by Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is bearing the much-expected fruits as more public organizations and institutions are embracing the adoption and the use of digital platforms in the delivery of public services across the country. The Secretary to the Vice President of Ghana, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Mr. Augustine Blay, noted this when he appeared as a guest on Net2 TV's dialogue show yesterday. Mr. Blay, who is also an expert in information and communications technology, was of the view that digitalization has improved and quickened administrative processes at various public institutions across the country in various sectors, including healthcare delivery, the transport sector, revenue generation and collection, among many public services.
Hospital system, oko kanina fa kese throwing for fast be irasa ube kwa ube dilemu wote next now oko ebedro say Augustine Blay yes ube eden me baha last year amunko hwe I no file ni honest best nko sanko another place nko fail for
starting processing
o yare o nti eno sa na vice president say e say push in fabe for video mra na ntimi mananye easy ma obia so oko hospital nya fi na o file be information e wo ho na wo dada nti omoye sa health information management systems all the major hospitals around the country share information. According to Kovanoche Hospital, another major hospital, we can say we are first, so we debate 3 hours and say is on what so about 30%. Instead of 3 hours, we spend about 1 hour.
Wow. Augustine Blay used the example of zipline technologies in the healthcare sector and how it has benefited rural communities and those in need of emergency medical supplies.
My memo, Moko Hospital, Moko what to be a Muhia Moja, we are Muhia Moja, Yarefo Bibrio Moko Hospital, Muhia Moja, Mojankwan. So, call a fum, I said, well, walk hour, or a drubia said the mount, said drone bed, it's me, I am my farmer on Tema, obey. In no be honor so yaria, in no, say ye this year, ye keep here, say keeping or machine beer, ni boarding. Some machine you need or Ghana have be all the places, few places, major hospitals na mwosa infidino. They say ya be bow. Na so wo ekurabia say na so village wo say baby and I say slim baby na say sa afidina e di cross and run bi ni wa. As na be foul akọ major hospital and say ko nya sa do no dia ma and na say be fa say do no free krom dia ko village no. Yami ampata besa nyame dia. Inte no na vice president challenge vice president IT impinifo na be for a businessman impinifo no call Silicon Valley.
Okay.
And as a plan for no be hun say solution am woni o metimi AC distribution center. No mo de moja ni nyama ehia na egu ho. Indru a ehia pa no so egu ho.
Okay.
Snake serum say ehia na egu ho. Na face obi wo ekura bi ase anaso wo echiri na so ehia sa de no urgently immediately omodi drone airplane koto bi abefa sa de na ehia no omodi call within 30 minutes na drone no ma jato na doctor no ade asa crofo yare make I say almost every day we have 4 distribution centers for Ghana every day about 100 flights de bia drone koto ano ebitu no obi nkwana
He said these milestones and achievements by government should not be seen through political lenses, as through the commitment and focus of the president has now endeared Ghana to the outside world.
If be an politics, manage who have for man say practical examples are mammy or oko divila ubun so cause the plan bun say near money a coso. Inti say vice president president his excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo when he work at the Juma manager showmans and no more share so more ye.
Okay.
The obey bia they say the Bible kind obey bia ni pabeka ho asem. But ni so di hunu anyame dia ma president na his excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and in support by the vice president his excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia omu focus omu hwe adwuma nyema yesi ye ntimi boa oman no say sa nyema ye ni nyina nti no ama wiasa fa na nyina ehu Ghana so kon say Ghana mum ye koye ni nyema ye na eboa ye man eboa Ghana for.
The secretary to the vice president said the youth in Ghana now have more entrepreneurial opportunities than ever before and urged them to take full advantage of these opportunities made possible by the digitalization agenda in the country.
There are a lot of opportunities. So many because I'm say, and I'm saying, I IT expert. I'm here, vice president office. So yeah, no, a lot of money ideas are me doing come say, oh, share Mabruna. See, I'm we are saying different from say, who we are saying.
Okay.
I be for man I create opportunities. Back on him being come say no. Mr. Blake, you tia, unya fine haircut, and fine alcohol. So, Mommy, Baba or airport area or Namiko, and say, Okona, or my point. Bending. I could draw as a line, because oh, I am my friend. I said, well, you use digital address in a for near me. Name to me and fat a babesa or more Ghana hanging, and as much as I cry and commercial in Gusso. No more so Muntimi use a phone app, and me schedule.
Wow.
And you call who scheduler at least over time. So, I call us or you mean to say, me Franca say, wait, or ya do. It's my now from whose side, also because Baba we made it. And then I'm so used to our platform, or be able to me whom Babesa or my idea. Babesa be or ya dear pan or be any minus or ye or our platform so on Najuman them between point. The only new where young ones in say, and nam sa a bear for near my data to Ghana incident, with me build the solutions at us. We share fintech, a bear for a systems for payments, more money inside your man. They can't find workers.
Okay.
IT for and fail it because almost far for because demand say be depending on IT systems a dorsal. And this all share in Yama a bind ya to her. No share be a reaction the coin. No share say a dependency on phone. It's a nipper be almost sorry up at the American WhatsApp and I say Facebook. And our message will be the phone and probably spend more time also. And say young ones share acquire on my fast. I build these solutions on better take advantage of phone, e-commerce. We use Instagram, or we use Facebook, or we use Twitter. I'm Tony man. Canina and Castle book yours. No, I got Nasi. No, I train so be bad. Say on book yours view and one say near man good in them. No, try pictures. No, they are to Instagram, so not the born out so. Oh, friend, I know for courier services.
Okay.
And also more companies are being created. Say on may deliver Nyama or more. It's say Nyama is creating more opportunities for the young people to take advantage of it.
He assured the public that all public institutions will adopt the digitalization culture sooner than later for the system to be effective across all the regions in the country. On the issue of marginalized communities in the digitalization culture, such as the semi-educated, Augustine Blade described the situation as very interesting, as the so-called marginalized communities have rather adopted and embraced digital platforms such as mobile money use than the supposed tech-savvy community, and said this is good for Ghana and developing nations.
I agree say marginalized community no
okay.
Now so we share adoption rates of technology. Marginalized communities no mum no more adopt no more chain or more work. We share mobile money exchange, mobile money interoperability, mobile money transfer of money say no. About for no room for almost in a scan one,
okay.
But to one more marginalized community no. No more here scan. No they be or more trouble. And now so much me adopted mobile money interoperability. I bet force everybody to adopt. And I'm saying to know, we are suffering. I want to say Africa. Yeah, fintech. That's a new way. It's a new economy now, depending on e-money. No, Africa for no moment on where they're kind.
Okay.
Africa so more here from marginalized community no moment almost so first.
Okay.
In terms of technology, they be do most of the time a marginalized community no. For Ghana card say Ghana card the share na krum ye but kohwe all line all the manual committee go munim say omo no free titi omo nka ho ti the vice president kan no ye betima wo no what na Ghana ha ewu obi anim no ye intro din din obia but you say they show din.
Oil prices rose to a 2-week high on Tuesday in 2019. The benchmark Brent rose from 34. President Joe Biden wanted it to add more. OPEC Plus is scheduled to add 400,000 BPD a month through June 2022, says Yoga. Global oil spare production capacity could diminish next year as air passengers return to the skies, removing an important cushion that the market is currently enjoying, Saudi Aramco Chief Executive Amin Nasser has said. Travelers took off the United States again, while the passage of Biden's $1 trillion infrastructure bill and better-than-expected Chinese exports helped paint the nearly back to pre-pandemic levels of 100 million BPD following last year's collapse. In India, fuel demand rose in October to a 7-month peak, with gasoline
The 5 Form 2 students of the Konongo-Odumase Secondary School, KOS, accused over the murder of their schoolmate, Lahram Samuna, have been remanded in a juvenile correction center by the Konongo-Odumase District Court. The accused persons, who are all aged 17, were remanded by the court to appear on November 15th this year. Their pleas were not taken as the police said they were not done with their investigations. The magistrate, Ms. Joyce Bamford, has however referred the case to the Ashanti Regional Supervising High Court judge for direction due to the nature of the case. While the main accused person, who allegedly stabbed the deceased, was charged with murder, 4 other accomplices were charged with abetment of crime. The court also refused bail application from counsel for the accused persons, Richard Edudakon, and upheld objection by the police to remand the accused persons and allow the police more time to complete their investigations. Explaining the peculiarity of the case, the Konongo Divisional Police Commander, Chief Superintendent of Police, Osei Shaibu, said, unlike other cases, juvenile cases must be tried within 6 months, and as such, the police will have to speed up their work and complete the investigations within a short time. Apart from that, he said only high courts had the jurisdiction to try murder cases, and due to the fact that the accused persons were juvenile, the trial might not go through the normal process. Thus, the need for guidance and direction from the supervising high court judge.
We brought the juvenile suspects, and according to the Even Act, we don't have to term them as suspects. We brought them, the juveniles, to court. As investigation is not completed, we came to seek to get them remanded so that we can continue with investigations. Since we cannot keep them over and above the 48 hours per there's a constitutional mandate, so we got them to the court, juvenile court today, to get them remanded. So God being so good, the court granted our request, and they've been remanded to reappear on the 15th, that's a week today, to court. Meanwhile, the court has directed the registrar to send or forward all recordings and then charge it to the supervising high court judge to direct the court for the next line of action. For juveniles, you cannot remand them by the Juvenile Justice Act. You cannot remand them over and above 7 days. That's why they were remanded for only 7 days.
Samuna, a Form 1 student of the Konongo-Odumase Secondary School in the Asante Achim Central Municipality last Friday, met his untimely death when he was stabbed in the left rib with a kitchen knife by a Form 2 student. This was when he tried to stop his seniors from bullying his classmates after prep last Friday evening. Samuna was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital, and his body has since been deposited at the Stewards Hospital mortuary at Yaokwe near Konongo. On Monday, the Education Minister, Dr. Yao Educhum, called the case sad and disheartening and called for an end to bullying in secondary schools in Ghana, a culture he said had no place in modern times.
The Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority (NPA), Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, has disclosed that his outfit is committed to stamp out the practice of fuel adulteration in Ghana. According to him, the NPA has instituted innovative strategies to ensure improvement in the quality of petroleum products on the Guinean market to curb the proliferation of adulterated products on the local market. He was speaking at a ceremony to commemorate the 2021 Consumer Week celebration in Ho, the Volta regional capital. Fuel administration has been identified as a global challenge where some petroleum service providers engage in the illicit act to maximize the profit at the expense of the consumers. The consumers are deprived of value for money and suffer vehicle and machinery damages. Fuel administration also causes harm to the environment through the emission of harmful compounds, such as has waged war on fuel administration in Ghana and themed this year's Consumer Week celebration, adulterated fuels, a menace to the consumer and the economy. Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid elaborated on the strategies being deployed to fight fuel administration in Ghana. He further urged consumers to report to the NPA anytime there's a suspicion of the purchase of contaminated fuel for the culprits to face the law. Delivering an address on behalf of the Energy Minister, Obed Kran, advised drivers against buying fuel from unauthorized dealers and warned against the consequences. The Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Yao-Licha, highlighted the effect of adulterated fuels on consumers and the environment and called for collaborative efforts towards fighting the canker. The NPA Consumer Week celebration served as a platform to educate and create public awareness on the safe use of petroleum products, the rights and responsibilities of consumers. It also highlighted the activities, mandates, objectives and responsibilities of the NPA to the consuming public.
The Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has sworn into office a new governing board for the Veterans Administration of Ghana, VAG, in line with the Veterans Administration Ghana Act, Act 844. The 13-member board is led by Major General Clayton Yachi, retired, and includes Brigadier General Amwabuache, Colonel Emmanuel Dakwa, retired, Captain Ben Edmondia, retired, Honorable Major Derek Odro, retired, Major Enim Alex, retired, Ex-Warrant Officer Grantin Samuel Smart, Ex-Warrant Officer Omani Joseph Evans, Ex-Warrant Officer Dozie Kwesi Jili, Ex-Warrant Officer Daniel Kwating, Honorable Cecilia Amwa, and a representative each from the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ministry of Employment and Social Welfare. Inaugurating the board at the Jubilee House on Monday, Vice President Bawumia reiterated the commitment of the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, President Akufo-Addo, to the welfare of retired soldiers.
Let me commence by congratulating our veterans and the servicemen and women for their patriotism, love, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for our dear nation, Ghana. They dedicated their lives to the service of this country and also offered important services and aid to other nations in need. Ghana is most grateful. Their welfare and well-being are therefore a national obligation that we cannot neglect.
Government, he said, is aware of the key issues of great interest to the military veterans, such as the encroachment of VAG landed properties, pensions, health-related issues, and livelihood for those strong enough and eager to work and support family.
I wish to reiterate His Excellency the President's commitment to resolving these issues and uplifting the welfare and well-being of our cherished veterans. Furthermore, this government is determined to ensure that VAG is managed in line with best practices that will yield results to the benefit of all military veterans.
The Vice President charged the new board to resolve the contemporary challenges facing veterans and military widows and make their tenure of office a memorable one.
It is my prayer that you will move the affairs of VAG beyond the expectations of its members. I have no doubt that you would have provided the required directions and guidance to VAG to improve and increase the welfare of our military veterans by the end of your tenure. I entreat you to ensure that the needs of our veterans are well taken care of. Let us serve them well as they have served the nation.
Major General Clayton Yache, on behalf of the governing board, thanked the Vice President for the confidence the nation has reposed in them and promised to live up to the demands of the association.